Hey, this is MassX with a brand new, yes, Bleach Soul Resonance video. The CBT for the global server, which does not include most jurisdictions, it's C, Taiwan, Hong Kong, etc., has opened up. So I've got some information on that. But before we even get to that, let's get to the big elephant in the room. And there's two things I'd like to discuss. The first off is we do know who is bringing this game globally over. Yes, your favorite publisher, Crunchyroll Games A+, will be doing it. I know people are gonna just bag on it immediately. I did initially. Right now, if you just look at Crunchyroll Games, we already know the fiasco that was One Punch Man World. They still have Street Fighter Duel going on. I think that's got to be at least a year and a half in, closing in on 2. Same with Eminence and Shadow, which I actually played for a while because I really like that IP. And they handled that game pretty good. I had really no major complaints outside some of the pricing structure in the store. Street Fighter Duel, they handled very poorly initially and made some adjustments. I left after about 6 months, give or take. So I can't comment after that how it's been handled. But yes, Bleach Soul Resonance is coming through A+ and or Crunchyroll Games. So let's all keep our fingers crossed that the developer really puts the hammer down and they don't have much control. That's going to be key because publishers sometimes can have very big control, and sometimes they are literally nothing more than a slot in. And that's what I'm hoping in this case, because the reason why the developer cannot bring it is because it was developed by a company that was part of, well, not was, still is part of ByteDance. And if you don't remember that fiasco, the TikTok fiasco, which is still going on, they claim there's a sale for the US, but it's not finalized, nor have we heard anything about it. And understandably so, because if it was being rectified, we would not probably be seeing Crunchyroll Games. We would see Newverse. So yeah, that's why we're stuck. Why they picked Crunchyroll Games A+, I don't know. So that is going to be the $1 million question, how much leeway they're going to have, or if this is really just nothing more than a straw man. Hopefully that's the case. The other thing that is a tad bit troubling is if you are playing on the CBT, they are offering a very lucrative rebate where you get 130% back of your purchase. So that is going to immensely help those countries if you're a spender. If you're not a spender, then this is completely irrelevant. But if you are, it's going to give them quite a big boost. Now, the game itself doesn't appear to have anything that would make this an issue, such as PvP, etc. But we don't know what type of content they have planned coming. So yeah, I hate to use the terminology 2 strikes already, but it does make me a little weary. But if you've been listening to me or been part of this channel for the last 5 years, you know how much of a big Bleach fan I am. I'm going to play this either way. I'm incredibly looking forward to it. I played in one of the 2 prior CBTs. The images and pictures you see in the background are from the current global CBT. I created an account just so I could get a gauge of where the game is at, and that's what we're going to talk about now. One of the things out of the gate I'm going to say is they have cleaned it up some. It's looking much better than it did in the prior 2 CBTs. I'm really looking forward to see what the final release will look like. The good news also is it doesn't appear, and again, this is a CBT, so these things can change, that reroll is going to be that difficult. You are not required to link your account to start. You can come in as a guest. It only took me maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get through the initial gameplay, to get my rewards and get to the recruitment, and I was able to, with doing minimal work, get 3 polls on the banner, which most people will be pulling on, which is the reduced banner, where you will get a guaranteed SSR character by 10 pulls. So if you're lucky enough, you pull, if you're looking for a particular character, the characters that they have in it, from what I remember, are the same as before. You'll see those on the screen. So that is some good news. So it should be, if nothing changes and you're not forced into linking or creating an account before starting, that will be good news for re-rollers out there, that you are going to be able to get, the likelihood of pulling an SSR fairly quickly, out of 3 out of possible 5-10 pulls is probably reasonably high. I've got the rates too. It looks like the pity is going to be at 80 across the board, which is really nice, and no 50-50. I hope that holds true. Now again, that's for characters only, but still, I'll take it. That's not the case with the other item, but at least for the characters, that's pretty darn good, actually. I can't complain. Looking over the pricing structure, the packs do go all the way up to what would be the equivalent of $99.99 in the US. But this is also from the original developer and publisher of the game in those jurisdictions. So I can't imagine that is going to change with it being in the hands of Crunchyroll, because you would never go any higher than that. It's a hard sell these days to have up to a $99.99 pack anyway. So I don't think we're going to see much adjustments in that. I'm sad to see that. I was hoping we would see a $69.99 max, $79 at the most. I think that is more of what people are expecting, especially with the change slowly occurring over the next year, where a lot of games are not going to be having gachas for the characters. But not so lucky with this game. But good news is it is official now, so it is going to be hitting global. It's just not going to be with who we thought, but you can thank your for the United States, you can thank your current legislature and president, because this all started back between the 2016-2020. That's when all this came into effect, and they were pushing this legislation through. It just didn't go into effect because most people don't realize this. Most of that stuff doesn't go into effect immediately. It's usually tailored to come in at some time in the future, and it didn't go into effect until last year. And if you were with my channel, you know one of the games that I was playing was basically shut off at first because of that legislation, until some of the open extensions were put into place. But because this is a new game, I don't blame them. They don't want to take any chances. So it is going to be coming out under a different publisher. And yeah, why this one, we'll never know. Hopefully they just are going to run customer service and not much more, and be told what to do. That's what we can keep our fingers crossed for. But so far the game is looking good. It's playing very smooth. When I logged into the server, it warned that there might be some latency. I was running, of course, I had to run a VPN, which also right there, kind of puts a lag on it. I did not feel that at all. I didn't connect my game controller. I was playing on my laptop because it was just easier to do it through an emulator. And that's another thing. it does have emulator support. So even if it's not available on PC, which we've not heard about at this point, it is going to work on an emulator and works quite well. I was using BlueStacks. I know that they say it's optimized, I believe, with LD Player, but that's good that you'll have multiple options to play it. But in the whole, I gotta say, I'm cautiously optimistic. I will play this game either way. I will bite my tongue and grunt if I have to, and hope that this game gets treated with the respect for the player base that it needs, because I think it can go very well. The gameplay itself is pretty darn fluid and I enjoy it. So let's hope everybody else does, and they treat the global community just as they would in any of the other jurisdictions like China, Taiwan, etc., because we do know how sometimes global gets the shaft sometimes. So fingers crossed, everybody, but we're looking at a November 21st release date globally. They're promoting that's going to be in 200 plus countries. So there's going to be a huge base out there, and given that they're doing everything at the same time globally for the most part in most countries outside, I believe China will open up first, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully all the rewards, everything you collect in the game will be the same for everybody. But all right, everybody, if you haven't pre-registered, I'll have the information in the description, and let's hope for the best. And all you Bleach fans, let's hope we get one hell of a game and they treat us well, because I can say right now, I'll be there day one. So with that, as always, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. Have a great day.